Imagine a man, not a young man anymore, with a face like a map of every hard road he's ever walked. He stands in a place that feels like the end of the world because for him, it might as well be. This is Kamchatka, a frozen, volcanic peninsula in the far east of Russia, a land of howling winds, steaming earth, and crushing isolation. And this man is Jim Hopper, once the police chief of a small, troubled town called Hawkins, Indiana, now a prisoner in a Soviet work camp. This part of his story is rarely shown on screen, but it is the quiet, brutal heart of his journey. It is not a story of flashy heroics but of something far more fundamental, the sheer, grinding act of endurance, and how that very act becomes, against all odds, a stubborn form of hope. To understand the weight of Hopper's endurance in Kamchatka, you have to remember what he endured just to get there. The man was no stranger to pain. He had lost a daughter to sickness, a loss that hollowed him out and led him to drown his grief in whiskey and isolation. He found a fragile new family in Joyce and her children, especially 11, the girl with incredible powers who he came to love as his own daughter. And then, in a final, desperate act in the battle against the monster from the upside down, he seemingly died in an explosion, sacrificing himself to save them all. But he didn't die. He was captured, the American, thrown into a bleak, frozen gulag, his punishment for surviving. So when we find him in Kamchatka, he is a man already pushed to his absolute limit. His body is a ledger of suffering, the old wounds from fighting Demogorgons, the fresh scars from Soviet interrogations, the deep, permanent ache of a heart that has been broken too many times. Every day in the camp is a battle against the cold that seeps into your bones, against hunger that gnaws like a constant animal, against the back-breaking labor of moving rocks or cutting timber in a landscape that wants you dead. The guards are cruel, the other prisoners are desperate, and the world has forgotten he exists. This is a place designed to strip a man down to nothing, to erase his past and his future, leaving only a shivering creature focused on the next minute of survival. But Hopper does not break. He endures, and this is where the simple, powerful truth of his story lies. His hope is not a bright, shining thing. It is not the belief that a rescue helicopter is coming any day now. That kind of hope would be crushed in a week by the relentless reality of the barbed wire and the guard towers. No, Hopper's hope is built from something much tougher and more mundane. It is built from the act of getting up in the morning. It is the hope found in successfully stealing an extra scrap of bread. It is the hope in making a small, secret connection with another prisoner, a shared glance that says, "I am still here, and I see you are still here." It is the hope in the simple, defiant fact of his own continued existence. Every day he survives is a message, a rebellion. He is telling the Soviets, telling the universe, telling himself, "You have not erased me. My story is not over." This endurance is his language. When he uses his strength to protect a weaker prisoner from a beating. It is an act of hope, hope that decency still has a place, even here. When he secretly works on a plan, any plan, to get a message out, no matter how impossible it seems, it is hope crystallized into action. He is like a tree growing in rock, its roots slowly cracking the stone not through violence, but through persistent, undeniable life. His hope is also, crucially, anchored in memory. In the crushing silence of his cell, he doesn't dream of grand escapes first, he dreams of the ordinary. The smell of Joyce's perfume. The terrible, wonderful noise of a Hawkins high school band concert. The taste of a frozen, terrible dinner turkey. The way 11 would look at him when she felt safe. These memories are not just comforts. They are fuel. They are proof that the life he had, the love he found, was real. They are a map back to himself, to the man he became despite his pain. The Soviets can take his clothes, his freedom, his health, but they cannot reach into his mind and take these pictures. By clinging to them, by replaying them like a precious film, he is doing the most important work of all. He is refusing to let the man who loved and was loved be replaced by the prisoner number he is called by. His endurance is, therefore, a promise to Joyce, to 11, to himself, that he will see them again. It is a promise whispered not with words, but with every breath he takes in the frozen air. And then, something shifts. Rumors reach the camp, whispers of a strange sickness in a far-off town, of gates opening, of a battle happening. Hopper hears the word Hawkins. Suddenly, his private, enduring hope crashes into the terrifying possibility of a real, outside world that needs him. His endurance now has a target, a direction. It is no longer just about surviving the day, it is about surviving to get back. The hope becomes sharper, more urgent, more dangerous. When the chance finally comes, in a chaotic, fiery breakout from the prison, his endurance transforms into raw, unstoppable action. The man who moved with the slow, pained deliberation of a prisoner now runs, fights, and schemes with a single-minded fury. But that fury was built in the quiet days. The strength to swing that sword against a demogorgon in the chaos of the prison yard was earned by swinging a pickaxe in the mine for a year. The courage to face down a monster was forged in the courage to face down another day of despair. When Jim Hopper finally makes it home, when he stumbles back into that cabin in Hawkins, he is a ghost made solid again. He is thinner, older, marked by a new kind of trauma. But he is there, and his return is the ultimate testament to the power of the hope he practiced in Kamchatka. It was not a magic that saved him. It was the accumulated weight of 1,000 small decisions to keep going. His story tells us that hope is not always a feeling you wait for. Sometimes, hope is a thing you do. It is the action of putting one foot in front of the other when the path ahead is nothing but snow. It is the decision to remember love when you are surrounded by hate. For anyone who has ever faced their own Kamchatka, their own season of loss, depression, illness, or grief, Hopper's journey is a rough, gruff blueprint. It says that you don't need to feel hopeful to be hopeful. Your endurance is your hope. The simple, stubborn refusal to vanish, to give up the ghost, is a light. It may be a weak, guttering flame in a vast darkness, but it is yours, and as long as you shield it and feed it with the tinder of memory and small acts of will, it is enough. It is enough to get you to the next day. And sometimes, against all the odds in the world, enough days strung together by endurance can lead you all the way home.